and family, all my friends around the world. So much love I found, so much joy in my heart, peace in my life.
Lord, this afternoon we've come together as a family and individually to say thank you. Father, we invite you into our midst once again. We pray you give us wisdom. We pray you give us knowledge, understanding, that even as we interact, even as we listen, even as we speak our minds, Lord, we pray you take absolute control in Jesus' name. Every of our worries, even as we lay it before you this afternoon, Father, we pray you give us solutions, because even as our faces are different, so our challenges are different. But Lord, the Bible says, he who needs wisdom should seek her, and we'll find her. Lord, this day, even as we come to you, approach you, Lord, release wisdom to us in Jesus' name. That, Lord, we will not go the same way we came in the name of Jesus. Rather, we'll receive solutions to all our challenges, and then we'll go with joy in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Once again, you are welcome this afternoon. We have beautiful faces and this handsome man among us. God bless you. You can have your seats, please. We all know that this is a program called Before the Vows. Before the Vows, the period of relationship, the period of courtship, and marriage and wedding. That's that short period of when a guy approaches you, and the short period of when you say, yes, I do, courtship. That's before the vow. That is where we are all here to listen to one another, to share experiences, to discuss. And I want it to be all open. It's interactive section. See, when you share your problem, you'll be so amazed that somebody else has gone through it and has a solution to it one way or the other. And I pray that all of us will go home smiling in Jesus' name. So please, before we go into the program proper, I want us to introduce ourselves. I want us to stand up and mingle. Smile with somebody. This is not hot seat. This is before the vow program. So let's rise up on our feet and mingle. Talk to somebody. Greet somebody beside you. If where you are sitting down, mingle. We are singles. Let's mingle. Let's know ourselves. Put a smile on somebody's face. Or give somebody a smile offering. Yeah, nobody is watching you. Nobody is going to arrest you. Please, whatever you have in your mind, be ready to pour it out. Whatever it is at all, be ready to pour it out. Like we prayed earlier on that God of wisdom will answer to every one of us in Jesus' name. So I would like to invite the chief host to come and usher us proper into the program. Let's jam our hands together for him, please. He said, who? The person actually the person is my boyfriend. So please, don't eye him. You can hire every other person, but don't eye him. The person of Oludaisi Joseph. God bless you.
Wow, awesome. Thank you very much. That is Mrs. Omotola Joseph, who happens to be my wife, my girlfriend. For how long now? This year it will be 18 for the official one. But there were some, I think 2 or 3 years in between before we got married. Okay? So I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Please help me appreciate her. Thank you very much. And also I will quickly introduce my mentors. We are supposed to have about 3. I guess the third person is coming. She's on her way. But on the eye table already is one of my mentors. He's a life coach. He's an accountant. He's a married man. He's a father of many children. And he's a senior pastor of Legacy Christian Assembly here in Abuja. Pastor Jerry O'Malley. Please help me appreciate him. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And my good friend, most of you will have heard her voice on Capital FM. She's an on-the-air personality, OAP, as they call them. She's married with children. In fact, this Before the Vows was influenced by her own program called After the Vows. She talks about the issues married people go through on radio at Capital FM. And for the past 10 years, I've appeared on that show. She has been running it, and she's still running it. Let's celebrate this woman, Petra Ologundudu, or we call her Petra O Black, Mrs. Petra O Black. Madam, thank you very much for coming. I celebrate you too. And then, please, I want you to celebrate yourself again. Put your hands together for yourself. You know, in 2015, I was on vacation with my wife in Dubai. There was a place called Love Garden that was just opened, I think in November, and we got there in December. As we were walking through the garden, I began to think about, I saw couples, sitting and speaking sweet things to each other in the garden. Suddenly there was a flash in my mind. If these people can be so happy, married, how come some of my friends, people I know personally, and people I've discussed with, are having problems in their marriages? And then God began to open my eyes and reminded me, why are you discussing after the vows when you should focus on before the vows? Before the vows, if you take care of the things that need to be taken care of before you get married, there will be less problems after the vows. Are you with me? So, and I began to wonder, I said, okay, what are those things? And God began to show me, reveal to me areas where people are having challenges. Those things we were discussing after the vows, if we take care of them before the vows, we will not discuss them. Yesterday I was in this hotel and I saw some women downstairs. They call them when women pray. So married people, married women, gathering to pray. And I've attended one of their programs before. I said, oh, what if they are taking care of those things before they got married? They won't be gathering. And then, while I was in a plane coming back to Nigeria, I began to receive inspiration to write this book Before the Vows. It talks about 21 questions you should ask before you get married. The moment you say, I want to marry this guy, I want to marry this lady, there are issues that you should be discussing. If you are conscious of those things, and you are deliberate about those things, you will not make mistakes. Once you discover some things, it's not left for you to either accept or continue. At least you have discovered. At least you have known it, that this thing is there. One of the things in this book, which is common, and I don't know why people still make such mistakes, is the issue of blood group. Let me ask you a question, my friends here. Do you know your blood group? If you know your blood group, let me see your hand up. You know your genotype. So, the common case where we're having challenges is this issue of genotype. Somebody is AS, and you are also AS. What is the problem that can arise from that? Who can tell me, please? Definitely you have the percentage, it is so sure that you are going to have SS as a child or children. A few weeks ago, somebody sent me a text, said, "Man of God, please," a very close friend of mine, "send me some money I need to take care of. I want to buy medication for two of my children. Two of my children that are SS. There's this normal injection or something they give to them." And I remembered 10 years ago. This is a friend, a personal friend. While he was, in fact, that was when I was doing my master's. He was also on campus. He was undergraduate. I was a postgraduate student. And I remembered that this guy said he was AS. And somehow, when I came to Abuja, I heard that he said the hair has turned to AA. And then married one of my daughters, And I said, wow, you mean these guys actually went ahead? That was when I discovered, I said, that means they went ahead to marry. Now they have 2 out of 3, 2 SS. Why should we give ourselves this kind of problem? It's like testing God. It's like testing God. So while you are saying, I love you, you open your eyes. And you discuss when you are engaged. Even before the engagement, you should be discussing. You should be discussing. Bros, maybe he has taken you to Tantalizer or wherever, you know where you people go to. When you like, Valentine is coming, right? Yes. We're going to go out, right? I'm sure you are preparing for Valentine. I'm preparing for Valentine, no, because I have a babe I have to take out. She's already telling me, what are you going to buy for me? And you discuss it. Oh, do you know your blog group? Just like I ask you, Olud, what is your blog group? Jokingly, playfully, I don't know. Oh, you need to find out. You need to discuss these things. So my concern is basically the period before marriage, before the wedding. What are those things you need to be discussing? What are those issues you need to bring out? Don't be afraid. I wish there are more guys here because there are more, men, they feel like, what is this guy talking about? But I want to trust God that you ladies will help me to help you solve that part, that kind of problem, solve that problem. So, during this season of courtship, relationship, many things must be discussed. Many. Some of those things I've written in my book. Some people have bought. I've started selling this book since 2015. And then God began to tell me that, look, it's beyond selling the book. It is about reaching out to people, counseling them properly. That's why this is the first conference we're having on Before the Vows. I'm so grateful to God that you guys are here. You have just made history. Please put your hands together. You have made history. A lot of things you wanted me. Just keep it on Facebook. You are all on Facebook, right? You all saw it on Facebook, on Instagram. And before now, 160 people actually dropped their phone number that they will come for this program. I said, nothing will stop us. This is the first one. It can always get better, right? So the crowd on Facebook, there are about 6,000 of you on that Facebook page. About 6,000 people watching my videos and some of the things I post on that page. Friends, like I said on that page, this is your year. This is your year. If you believe it, you can have it. And I said, coming together is just to share facts and information. And then you go home and take care of yourself. Right? But the major thing is, what is the purpose of marriage? If we understand that, the purpose of marriage, why marriage? Was marriage instituted by your father, your parents, your grandparents, or is it a Yoruba thing, or Igbo thing, or it's British or American. Marriage, the first thing you need to understand. I was on a radio station called Kiss FM for a quarter last year, and I asked this question: why do you want to get married? If I ask you now, you will get different opinion. If I give you a form to fill now, why do you want to get married? Different things will come out. Well, in one of those programs, a lady called back and said she needs a man that will take care of her and her siblings. And it's like, are you serious? You just need a man. Anybody can do that for you now without marrying you. I hope you understand that. I can be a blessing to you. Take care of you, pay your school fees, pay your house rent without being married to you. Somebody can do that, right? That means she doesn't really understand what marriage is all about. But you need to know the purpose of marriage. God is the one that instituted marriage. God is the one that started it. God. And just for two main reasons, which I've told you about in my book and also online. One is for companionship. That companionship is so deep, so big, that whether you are in dry season or rainy season, the two of you should be together. For companionship. First. Everything you go to, if my wife says she has headache now, that means I have headache. Because if I don't attend to her, no browsing. No. Hey, guys. I hope you understand what I mean. If she says she has headache and I just remove my face, women are more emotional. Say, hey, I was telling you that I have headache. You didn't pay attention. Then you are touching me. Don't try it. If I come back from work and I'm really down and she doesn't say, what's happening to you? She will ask me. Even when we came here this morning and she saw me pacing all over, I started to say, come, let's dance. I want to calm you down. That's companionship. Do you understand? That's companionship. That's being together. Whatever happens to her will affect me. Whatever happens to me will affect her. Companionship. And inside the companionship is sex and every other thing that follows. The second part of it is for procreation. To replenish the heart. So it is God's will for you as a man or woman when you get married to have children. It's God's will. Because you are going to be fulfilling that covenant of procreation. So we need to understand the two purposes. One is companionship, being together. Under it, we have being together and sexual relationship. So marriage basically is the covering where you should be enjoying sex. Anybody who does it after that, you're a thief. You're a stealer. If there's any word like that. A thief. Outside marriage, we are just thieving it. But God's purpose is it should be done within marriage. So you will not put yourself under pressure or allow a guy or a lady. Ladies also put men under pressure. I hope you know that. You guys, why are you? You know that at times when you want to get some things, you do some stuff. And the guy will mess up. Say, okay, let me just allow her. Okay. So, companionship and then for procreation. If we have these two at the back of our mind, I tell you, the other things are very easy. You can always reconcile. God has a purpose for marriage, for you not to be alone. It looks like we're all Christians here. It also means that we have been hearing this from our various churches. The pastor must have talked about it. Companionship and for procreation. Those two things are paramount to God. Anything, in fact, I was checking the meaning of marriage in online. they have added man and woman to it. But basically the definition says originally, marriage is between man and woman. Then the next line says, in other climes, they have added man and man, woman and woman. But that can't happen in Nigeria. That's 14 years. I hope you know there is a law passed by the National Assembly. That's 14 years. And that's if the people have not even killed the first. But the thing is, marriage is between a man and a woman. One of our panelists, we are waiting for her to tell us exact age. So what age? What is the right age that somebody can say, okay, I want to get married, and your parents or the people around you will not frown? Friends, information is power. Using that information properly is wisdom. When you have information and you use it properly, that means you're a wise person. This year, as we plan to get hooked or be hooked, this information should be in your hands, and you should run. Don't shy away from asking questions. Once I finish my keynote address now, we are going to be talking question and answer. We are going to be asking my panelists to come and pick one aspect, and then we dissect, we look at the issues, and then we provide solution to you. Our aim is that all of you here, seated here, including the cameraman who is not married, should plan to get married properly. You should plan to get married with good information in your hands. We don't want divorce. Hello? We don't want it to happen. I was just telling her that the latest I had, sir, a friend of mine called, after listening to me on Facebook, I did a live discussion on Facebook, and she came to my office, and she said, what are you talking about? Because in my book, I actually wrote people get married and break up in 8 months. I'd seen 3 months, suddenly 24 hours. She told me a friend, and she told me the story. 24 hours, sir. 24 hours, somebody breaks up, separates. And I said, that's crazy. That's crazy. And nobody is exempted, even pastors are messing up. I hope you have been hearing in the media, right? You have been hearing about things because certain things are not taken care of. No matter how old you are, as you are seated now, if you cannot correct you are already done. You are done. You must make yourself available for correction. You must, and don't ever allow anybody to put you under pressure. Under pressure. God has the best plan for you. That's the first thing you should know. God has the best plan for you. He wants you to be happily married. But the question is, are you actually ready? Are you properly ready? It can be your age, but is your mind ready? Is your brain ready? Somebody can be 21 and she's ready, or he's ready. And he can be 30, but they are still doing all over the place. They are not ready. They are not ready. They are not ready. Some of us is career. I want to become first. Career. It's good to have career. It's good to have business. But you must learn to manage all those. Some of us, it is issue of money. You have this mindset that a man must always give you. In this age and time, go and ask all the guys now. They want you to also contribute. They want you also to contribute. That's why I see the guys looking for sugar mommy all over the place. But if we prepare ourselves, prepare yourself now, I'm sure before December something will happen. Because I've been praying. I've been praying every day. I say, everybody in my community before the vows, oh God, answer them. Male or female, answer them. Do a miracle for them. Give them jobs. Give them businesses. Help them. Let their family agree. How would the family agree? A young lady called me. She's 19 and she said, her boyfriend is 25. And my parents don't want me to marry him. I said, okay. I asked her, I said, how old are you? She said, 19. I said, okay, have you finished university? She said, no, I have not entered. You have not even entered the university. This is one of the reasons why they will not accept. So where is the guy? He said, here in Abuja. I said, okay, do you want to come to my office? Let me talk to the two of you. Because I also remember that every parent wants the best for their children, right? Hello? Every parent wants the best, whether you're a guy or you are a lady. So a 19-year-old can just not wake up and say, let me go and meet my father or my mother. This man wants to marry me. It's exceptional. It happens, but it's not every time, right? It's not every time. So you might be 19 and you are ready. You might be 25 and you're not ready. So there is timing for everything. It is when we start discussing, at times when you start discussing with people one-on-one, I say, no, I don't think you are ready. Are you sure you are ready? Or somebody is pressurizing you. Or somebody say, my mother wants me to get married. My father wants me to get married. In fact, there's one 15-year-old that told me that the dad said, she should do quick. Do quick. Do quick. And get married. I said, wow. I said, wow. Wow, can I come and talk to your father? Why is he trying to pursue you out of the house? Friends, 2018 is real. It has come. February is about going, right? Today is 10th. Before you know it, it's over. And then we enter March, April, May, December. I'm sure there are people in this hall that they are going to invite me for their wedding. I believe so. I'm praying for you every day. Everybody connected to me, I'm praying for you. Every day. Every day. Friends, today, we want to look at 3 aspects. And I'm going to be asking my mentors to come here and talk to you on 1 or 2 areas. And then we will discuss. I want us to talk together one-on-one. Share our experiences. Ask questions. We are here to help you answer those questions. So, the first person I'm going to be calling, because of time, I want us to have enough time to discuss. We don't just want to talk from here. I want us to discuss and relax. Relax yourself. Relax yourself so that we can discuss. Be open. Be ready to discuss anything. I promise you, these people here, across here, over here, they are well experienced, well exposed to counsel everybody here. No matter your age, we can counsel you. We can counsel you properly. So, before the vows, we are going to do it again and again, conference after conference, taking care of different aspects. And you are the pioneers, basically. Yeah. Clap for yourself. You are not clapping. You are not clapping. It's awesome. You are just making history today. In 1 year time, 12 months time, 48 months time, 5 years time, I'll be looking at your picture and say, yeah. She was single, now she has, she's married. She has twins. She has triplets. You will now remember say, Pastor, clap now. Because everybody here will be fertile. Everybody will be celebrated. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Seeing your faces is making me so happy. On behalf of my wife and myself, I want to appreciate you. On behalf of God, that you responded to this. And you are here to listen, to learn, and to contribute. God bless you. Without wasting our time, I will be calling upon my mentor, so a brother, big brother, not big brother Nigeria, not big brother Niger. And your brother is real brother, Pastor Jerry Omale. Please help me welcome him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. How many minutes am I speaking? 20 minutes, okay. When you show me, it means it's remaining 5 minutes, right? Okay. Not exactly. Okay, thank you. I want to thank you very much for coming for this event. And I want you also to join me in celebrating Mr. and Mrs. Olu Joseph and our dear sister and mentor also that is here. As we take out time to look at these serious issues, my prayer and heart desire is that you will not make mistakes that others ahead of you have made. May God all grant us wisdom to be able to manage the homes that He will take us into. Thank you very much. Well, basically I've been given 20 minutes to speak on importance of getting parental consent before marriage. The importance of getting parental consent before marriage. Well, I'll start by saying why it's not necessary. Why it's not necessary according to the opinions of others. Some say it's not necessary to have parental consent before one engages in marriage. And they hinge their arguments on basically these three that I've been able to bring out. One is that marriage is an agreement between two persons. Marriage is an agreement between two persons. The man and the woman involved, the boy and the girl involved. And so it doesn't really matter. And because of that, they feel it may not really do any harm to the marriage if there is no parental consent. And some have gone under this guise to go and start staying with either the men go to stay with the women or the women go to stay with the men. Whatever arrangement, there is a coming together and there is a staying together. Because they say, we are adults. Since we are adults, we can do whatever we want. A few years ago, one young man and one young lady went to the court, and then they were being joined at the court registry. The process was already on when the mother got to know, the mother of the boy got to know that the son was marrying in the court registry. So she left all she was doing and then went to the court registry. The registrar had finished and they were coming out of the hall when the mother emerged. And she emerged crying and yelling and all over the place. And then she went to the registrar, and the registrar said, well, it's over. It's been concluded. We can't do anything about it. And our constitution says once they come, a man and a woman, and they have a witness, that's it. So you can begin to picture the agony, the sorrow of that woman that day. You know, she was helpless. She couldn't do anything about it. And the rest is a story. So some people say, no, a man and a woman agree and then they are married, so there's no need for parental consent. Other people say that parental consent is, as a matter of fact, a cultural thing. And that is in Africa, oftentimes that we even emphasize it, that these things don't really matter anymore. The other ones say, another argument why parental consent may not be necessary, according to the opinion of some others, is that whether the marriage that will fail, whether it be cancelled or not. The one that will succeed, whether there is cancelled or not. And because of that, they say it is not very necessary. I hope we appreciate the points that are being raised to buttress the fact that it's not necessary. But I would like to make other arguments to justify the fact that it is necessary. One is the matter of experience. Experience. We are told that experience is the best teacher. I'm sure you have heard it over and over again. Experience is the best teacher. Once you have opportunity to go along a path that somebody had gone through before, wisdom dictates that you listen to what the person that has gone through that process has to say, so that you don't make the mistakes and run into hurdles or hardship or odds that the person ran into. So for the sake of experience, as I discussed, I will not, I'm aware that the invitation is open-ended to the whole world. So we'll be trying to approach it from the various religious persuasions. So experience is a good teacher. And because of that, I think it is good that we take advantage of the counsel and the leadership role that our parents will play in our getting married, you know. Again, also to mention that any person that happens to be a father or a mother was once a son and a daughter also, you know. And these things, for many years, it will continue. As long as there is life, it will just keep continuing. So I believe that it is good that we should listen to the counsels of our parents before the vows. The second thing, Ulu had already mentioned it. He says that the rate of divorce is on the increase, is on the rise. From nation to nation around the world, the rate of divorce is on the rise. And even though the reasons for which people divorce are wide and varied, there are many of them, you can equally pinpoint that if some had had or listened to their parents, possibly they would have been able to avoid the divorce that they go through. So, if anything must be done about the rate of divorce in our society, I think pre-marriage counseling by parents should be taken very, very seriously. The third point I would like to mention under a general view, that it is good that we listen to the opinions of our parents, is that parents are stakeholders. Our parents are stakeholders in our life project. Our parents are stakeholders in our life projects. If one gets married and his marriage failed, your parents cannot be left out of it. Often you will go back, particularly if there are issues, if there are children, and the wife or the husband is not endowed, you have to fall back on your parents. Sometimes you may stay and see how you can wriggle your way through with friends, but often your parents will say, this is my own, whether it's bad or it's good, it's my own. So at points that are critical, at points that are frustrating in our lives, our parents will always want to identify and stand with us. So our parents, therefore, bear the brunt of failed marriages. They bear the brunt of failed marriages. Therefore, at the beginning of it, it only justifies that if they are going to bear the brunt of failed marriages, they should be part of it all through the hog. I think for those three reasons, and one or two that I will still mention, the parents deserve to play a role in our getting married. It is very important that we get parental consent before we go into marriage. The holy books, the Quran, the Bible, also stress the fact that our parents need to be involved, and we need to have parental consent before we can engage in marriage. If I may read the holy book, the Bible, in Genesis chapter 2, maybe I take Genesis chapter 24. Let me take 24 because of our time. Genesis 24, verse 58 says something. Verse 58 says, and they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's father, and his men. And they blessed Rebekah, and said unto her, thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions. The parents were there for her when she was about to be married. They gave her out in marriage. Abraham's servant came to look for a wife for their son, Isaac. And then, having fulfilled all the conditions, the parents of Rebekah gave her out, and they wished her well. She brought them honor. She brought them honor, and they wished her well, and they sent her away. In the same holy book, Exodus chapter 22. Exodus 22, verse 16. Verse 16 says something. Exodus 22, verse 16. I read. It says, if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If a woman, a lady is not betrothed to a man, and the man entices her, and she sleeps with her, he sleeps with her. Exodus, the scripture we just read, says that by sleeping with her, he has become his wife. That it is his wife. But look at verse 17. Verse 17 says, if her father utterly refused to give her unto him, in spite of this incident, if her father refused to give her unto him, the man that slept with her shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins, yet it will not be his wife. Do you understand it? It says, for sleeping with her, that guy will pay dowry. For putting her the family way without the parental consent, he will pay dowry. But the woman will receive the dowry, and that dowry is 50 shekels of silver in that order. So, it means the Bible is saying parental consent is key. It's very key. It's important. For those of our Muslim folks as well, this same question was put across to a lecturer as associate prof of the Department of Islamic Studies in English in Egypt. And this was his opinion, having read the Quran. He says, it is not permissible for a man to marry a woman without the consent of her legal guardian, such as her father or brother, or either she has or has not been previously married. According to the Hadith, Aisha, the ruler is the guardian of the one who does not have a guardian. They further said, this professor further said that any woman who gets married without the permission of her guardian, her marriage is invalid. Her marriage is invalid. Her marriage is invalid. If her husband has consummated the marriage, then the dowry belongs to her in return for that. Just saying the same thing that Exodus said, that if her marriage was consummated, that dowry belongs to her. It's not for the, because of the disapproval. If she does not have a guardian, then the Muslim ruler is the guardian of anyone who does not have a wali. And then he concluded by saying, if she does not have a guardian, then the Muslim ruler is the guardian of anyone who does not have a wali. The ruler here means the judge who governs according to the Sharia, or an Imam of Islamic Center in the West. Therefore, a guardian does not have the right to prevent a woman from marrying any suitor without providing a valid reason. What we are saying is that there is a place for parental consent before marriage. I just pray for us that when it's our time, that our relationship will so work in a way that will bring honor and glory unto our parents, and that God will also be happy with us. Amen. So from all this, for the sake of honor, for the sake of experience, for the sake of respect for our parents, for the sake of the fact that the society will also bear the brunt of failed marriages, it is important that we consider our parents when we are going into marriage institution. So if we consider our parents and they withhold their consent, what do we do? Because we have such instances where parents will say, no. What do we do? What do we do? It bounces back onto us as well. Assuming you are the father or the mother of that young lady or that young man that wants to marry, and he does not want you to have a say in the relationship, or for one or two reasons that are key to them, they say, no, don't marry this girl, don't marry this young man. And your father, your son or your daughter goes ahead to marry, how will you feel? How will you feel? Will you feel bad? Well, if parental consents are withheld, we prefer three solutions. One, there is a time, give it some time. If your parents are not showing interest in your relationship, but before you say bow and they still hold to their gun, we advise you, give it some time. Secondly, also pray more. Give it some time. Pray more. Then thirdly, talk to others around who your parents respect, to talk to your parents. In the event that you are so convinced about, going ahead with that relationship. Often when we are patient to follow these three rules, allowing some time, praying more, allowing others to intervene, maybe family members, church members, people that your parents respect. If we are patient and we truly mean this, often they will break down. We'll break our parents down. But when it becomes a matter of, as I have brought this one, and people have said this, the next time I will not bring another person again. Once it enters that lane, not trouble now. Not trouble will be. Let's respect our parents. Sometimes because we belong to different generations is a good reason why. So at the time that we want to bring people, let us be close to our parents. We need to be close to our parents. There are some things that if you were closer to your father or your mother, he or she will be able to understand you more than when you are standing at a distance and say, you are of a very different generation. Me, I am from a different generation. May God help us. In Jesus' mighty name. Parents often will be speaking about a matter that may not enter into the ears of their children, father, mother. They may be speaking sometimes it is timing they are talking, like he was saying. At other times they are speaking about the person. At other times they are speaking about the place of the person. Or it may be a combination of all these. But when we are not careful to listen to them so we can have heart-to-heart discussion, sometimes we may just be on our own. But may God help us that we will be on the same page with our parents when it's time for us to marry. And when parents are talking about a person, some time ago, one of the members of our church brought somebody who says he wants to marry. Well, that lady had actually advanced in age. I think that time she was like close to 40 years. And then this person, she came and said that he wants to marry this person. And I asked her some questions, just very few questions. Oh, thank you. I just asked her a few questions, and she couldn't answer them. Few questions as, where is this guy from? He says, from Anambra State. Anambra State is a state. Where is he from? He couldn't. What of his father, his mother? Are they alive? How are they? Basic questions about the family of the person you want to marry. And at the time she came to me, they were already looking at a date. She came to discuss the date. And then I said, okay, let the guy come. Let me see him. And they came. After I met them at the first time, I now called the guy separately. I called the guy separately because I already knew the daughter, the lady. I called the guy separately, and we began to interact. And I discovered that at the point he was coming for this guy, he was actually married, but was dissatisfied with his marriage. And yet, the lady in our church didn't know this basic information. We have been at a wedding where somebody raised up, and said that this person that want to marry now is his wife. And then, of course, that is the end of when you are a pastor and somebody say, the person you are about to wed belongs to another person. That is the end of the road. Church closed. We share grace. Then we went to eat. Also, one of our churches, some years ago, a lady, the day of the wedding, the man, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, the lady didn't show. She didn't show. Up until last night, they had already agreed they were going to marry. But on the wedding day, when about 1:30, the lady had not shown, we sent to the village of the lady who was close by on Okada, and they went there and came back. The father said they can't see her. They can't see her. So we had to share the grace. And then the wedding ended there. What was the issue with it? The issue was this lady has actually not given her mind to it. Some other influences were all over her. And they prevailed on her up until this time. But a few hours, just one night in between, she made up her mind not to go into it. The guy had been married before, was a military guy. The wife died, had children that were even her senior. So she decided to elope. Amen. May God help us that we will not run into very terrible negative experience. In Jesus' mighty name. I end here and then we talk when it's time to ask questions. Let's put our hands together.
Wow. I guess some questions are already bubbling inside of you. If I wrote down my own question, I wrote down, what if you have done your best and your parents still refuse? And this is a recurring issue. You know, it's a recurring, some of us have gone through it, so that you are not ready, or like he said, timing. So many, but I know you have your own question. You know, after the second speaker, we are going to give us room to ask questions that need answers. You must get answer today. And the answer is what you're going to take out. Do you understand me? This is the answer. You are going to get answer today. That's the answer you are going to take out to push forward your own agenda. Because this year, if you marry in Abuja, I will attend the wedding. That's one of the promises I made to myself. Anybody in my community, before the vows, if you marry here in Abuja, just invite me, I will be there. I don't need invitation card, just send me a message to me. This is my day. I will come. I will come. So put down your questions, and after the second speaker, we'll marry all the questions, and then we interact with answers. So, without wasting our time, let's invite my good friend and mentor, after the vows, Mrs. Petra O. Black. Please put your hands together for her. Celebrate her. She's a powerful woman, oh. Celebrate her. International media personality. Thank you, man.
He always tries to make me feel better than I and bigger than I am. Hello, everyone. I can see there are very few smiles in the house. Are they selling smile? Eh? There is fuel scarcity, not smile scarcity. Please look at the person sitting next to you and say, how are you? Have you introduced yourself? Can we quickly do that? To the person, or somebody around you. Meet a new person right now. There's one lady I'm looking at. She's not meeting anybody. Have you met somebody? Should I come to meet you? All right. I'm usually asked to speak in secular settings, but I don't know how many of us are not Christians here. If you're not a Christian, can you put your hand up? Okay, you're not a Christian. Okay. That's fine. That's beautiful. I think Before the Vows is a platform where everybody, whether you are Hindu or you are Japanese or you are whatever you are asked, you're welcome to this forum to learn about the do's and the don'ts, and the things that you can do to make your life easier in the future. As my big brother has said earlier, my name is Petra O. Black Ologundudu. They had called me O. Black until I started calling myself O. Black. So please, let's just get used to it. So I am Petra O. Black. I think they call me O. Black because my husband's name is Ologun Dudu, and Dudu means black. And then they decided to do away. Some of my white friends said, that name is too long, and they said it's O. Black. So let's stick with it. All right. Today I've been asked to share with us on some of the reasons why we should work before we get married. I don't know how many of us in the house are not workers. If you have never worked in your life, I'm going to ask you to put up your hand for two reasons. Number one, to identify you. Number two, maybe we'll give you a job before the day is over. So if you don't have a job, put up your hand. You don't have a job. Or you're looking for a better one. I understand. Just put up your hand. Are you looking for a job? One. And then if you're looking for a better job, I think a lot of people are looking for a better job in this economy, yeah? But so why are some of the reasons why we should work? What are some of the reasons why we should work? Before we call it a day, I will bring, I have a few reasons here why, it is generally believed that as a single person, it will do you well to work before you say I do, before that time comes when you're merged with somebody else and you now carry the responsibility of another human being on yourself. I would give us some of those reasons. But first, let's start by asking basic questions. One of the first things, that in my life experience, one of the aha moments for me was reading a book and, it being pointed out to me that it is very important to identify who you are. In life's journey, you're going, who knows that we're all going on a journey, yeah? Where you are today is not where you were yesterday. So we're all going on a journey. And you started somewhere. You might not be where you want to be right now, but you are somewhere and you're not where you started. Do we understand that? So, it's one of the things I always say when I'm praying, which I do. I'm a child of God, I'm a Christian. I work in a very, very secular environment. But, when you realize that you have to go further and you have to be better than you are, you realize that the only way to do it is, be horizontal. You have to connect somewhere up there. Okay? Well, one of the things I came in contact with was the fact that I needed to know myself. That is also part of the spiritual journey where you now say, I know that in myself I cannot do it all anymore. I know I've done my best. I've read. I've given my best. I've done all I can. And I can't do more than I can. So you now connect that way. So let's ask ourselves today, do we know ourselves? We're talking about a journey of meeting somebody that you would love, falling in love with that person, and taking a bold step, coming in front of your family and friends to say, I do, to walk down the aisle, to take the vows, before the vows, to take your vows. I'm not used to all these things. You see, the thing is not even standing well. Okay. We're trying to talk today about finding yourself. Do you know yourself? How many of us can say in this room, I know myself? Can you really say you know yourself? If you can say, I know myself, can you put your hands up? Let's see. You have discovered yourself. I'm very happy. Can we put our hands together for ourselves? And don't feel bad if you cannot say that already, that you know yourself. I know myself. If you can't say that, we're going to make some adjustments today before, this session is over. The most important thing in life, a very wise man once said that the most important rule in life is to know thyself. Know thyself. Know your wants and your dislikes, your do's and your we're talking, yeah? Your do's and your don'ts, your pros and your cons, yeah? It's good to know yourself. Why do we need to know ourselves? Okay, let me go ahead and say, one of the reasons why you need to know yourself is that in the process of getting to know somebody else, in getting, falling in love and sharing your life, getting married, if you don't know yourself, then how would that person know you? Yeah, my sister, you were saying something? How do you get to know the person? If you don't know yourself, how do you get to know that person? It's a big deal. Why? Because there's nobody in your life that is more important than you. And nobody's responsible for what your life is going to turn out to be. You might, at the end of the day, it works out. Praise God. If it doesn't work out, who are you going to blame anyway? Who are you going to blame? It didn't work out. So will you say, it's my father that introduced me to my husband's father, and they said we should get married. Whose choice is it? Bless you, sir. The pastor said a moment ago, a girl had agreed to marry. Her father said, this is a good guy, that is from a good family and all of that. At the last moment, she realized that this is the most important decision in her life. And she said, is this how, in my village, they will say, now so I go take go. Is this how it's going to happen to me? And she realized that it is deeper than it is wide. She said to herself, I cannot allow myself to take this step because it is irreversible. What did I say it is? I want us to write that word down. That when you do, I always tell people on radio, and over the years, I started doing After the Vows about 10 years ago. Before that, I had done so many programs on radio, on TV. I'd won awards and all of that. But I kept on saying there was something empty inside me. And I asked my husband, I said, can I do a program for married people? Because we really don't know what we are doing, including myself at that point. Praise the Lord. Excuse me, my lovely sister. And it is in discussion, in forums like this, that we get to meet each other and we get to tell ourselves that, look, oh, you know this one, me, I know this one. Then we now start talking. And over the years, a lot of people have learned. I was in the bank the other day, and the guy, was paying my teller, my check. And he was saying, you're Petra, you have changed my life. I have some people, who I will run into, and they will say, Petra, I've not recovered from the fight I fought with my wife yesterday because of the program that you did on air. We're always looking for something controversial, asking people very, very painful questions. Why do you do what you do? How come you love your in-laws more than you love your spouse or her own family? We're always asking. We take a lot of time every week. And I work with a huge team. Over the years, I've worked with a very huge team to look for what is pinching people, what's making people to divorce. How come the divorce rate is as high as it is? I want us to please turn down put your phones on vibrate so that we can concentrate. We're asking ourselves, do you know yourself? Well, if you have answered that question, whether in the affirmative or in the negative, if you feel that you know yourself, fine. If you feel you don't know yourself, I think we'll take a journey in the direction of getting to know ourselves tonight. All right. Okay, we know ourselves. For those of us who say that we know ourselves, tonight we're asking, why should you walk as a man, as a woman? Let's take a moment to celebrate the men we have in the house. Can we put our hands together? These are the husbands, These are the ones that are husbands. Because the other ones that are out there, they saw it on Facebook. They heard me say it on radio. They didn't come. Why? Because they said, what are they even saying? It's for women. Who they marry, no be man and woman. When you call for a get-together of, for singles or married, many times you see it's full with women. Who is going to make it work? The man is the head of his home. The woman cannot be the head of the home. When there is that shift in the paradigm and the woman is beginning, because she's financially stronger or because she's sabi shout, she's beginning to become the head of the home, then the marriage is being made a mess of. Because a man must continually, whether he's financially, standing well or not, a man must be a man. A man is the leader. He leads and we follow, isn't it? That's the way society is structured. In most religions, in Christianity, in Islam, in the home, the man is the leader. And if a man feels, when I marry, anything I say she will do, not be so. Not be so. You carry somebody's child that probably is 25 or 30 or 35 that has lived her whole life a certain way, and you are trying to readjust her, telling her it's what I give you that you take. It's how I do you that Ask this lovely woman why she's looking so lovely. This man doesn't treat her like that too. I admire them from a distance. Can we put our hands together? Let's celebrate them. This is the power behind. When you see Olu outside and you see him, this is the lovely, the great. See, and they do romance for them. All right, let's go straight to the point. Why should you work? If you have never worked, There are a lot of things that you would not realize that you have never known. You know, it's easier said than done. Somebody who works, for example, knows that, especially when you work in a general office where there are men and there are women, you learn how to deal with the opposite sex. Who knows that? You begin to see that the way women think is not the way men think. And we're not saying this, to put anybody down. A man does not think the way a woman thinks. A man thinks rationally. A man thinks mathematically. A man thinks logically. A woman thinks romantically, emotionally, with the left side of our brain. We want to turn everything into romance. And the man is saying, let's get this thing done. How do we make money out of this? I remember a few weeks ago, I was telling Pastor Olu about a project we're working on right now. It's called POW TV. Everybody say POW TV. POW TV. Free advert. I will, sir. We're working on POW TV, and we're, trying to get feelers from men and women and to say, how do we get this thing right? And, it all boils down to, how does a man think? How does a woman think? And, we went to the streets to ask questions. You could see the kind of answers we're getting from the women. It's totally different from what a man will do. Yeah? We went to meet with some of our investors. Same time, last month. We went to meet with some of our investors, some people who want to, put their money into this, our project. And, I was going on and on. This is a typical woman. I'm a woman. Yeah, whether I'm a businesswoman or whatever I am, I was telling him, I said, we will do this. And I was painting it and it was beautiful. Even me, I knew that I was painting it beautifully. And then the man said, so, madam, how do we make money out of this? And I had to step back and think about it. It looks as if it's marketable, yes. It looks as if people will love it, yes. I've tested it, I've tried it, we have trusted it, people have put their money. But how will people make their money out of it? That was the question. He said, if I'm not able to tell him clearly the steps we're going to take to get money out of it, it just might not work. So we now know that, working in an office, you learn that men and women don't think the same way. That's one of the reasons why they say that a woman or a man or somebody who is single should work. Now, we have 2 men in the house. Hello, sirs. I celebrate you. That's what's raining in Abuja. I celebrate you. I celebrate you. We know where it's coming from, Koza, right? If you are Koza in the house. All right. Well, I want to ask the both of you a question. Do you want to marry a woman who doesn't work? Would you like to marry a woman who has never worked?
No, I don't want to.
Okay. You will tell us your reason later on. Sir?
It depends.
It depends. Okay. I think he's one of those men, one of those special men. Yeah. But, I'm wondering, I see somebody said something there. I know why we're all laughing. There are some women that are looking for those men. And there are some men that are looking for those women. Yeah? Okay. What amount of leverage would you have as a woman who is married to a man and you don't work? If you say that you would like to marry, you want him to, I want a man that can take care of me, I beg. This is my fine skin. I want a man that can pay that school fees and he can buy that car and all of that. Are you ready to take whatever comes with it? I'm just going to let that hang in the air. Yeah? Let's leave that there. But from research, we have found out that a woman who works or a man who works, that it actually improves their sex lives. Who understands this part? That being a working class woman, men are sexual beings and they're visual beings. They are more sexually active than women. We all agree, right? But they say that a woman who works has more of a sex drive than a woman who doesn't work. Now, let me explain why these are facts, okay, from the researches and all of that has been done. They say that a woman who works has conquered a lot during the day and has gotten used to conquering. So when it's time to do that show in the night, she doesn't just lie back and take whatever comes. She knows what she wants. Yeah? She conquers again. She's used to conquering. I don't want us to go too spiritual. She participates. Thank you, my sister. You know, you're not just a log of wood. You know, I know what I want. And you are used. And then you now even get to the point where you make an effort to enjoy it and to maximize that opportunity. Let me leave it there. All right, I'll move to my next point. They say that a woman who works has a happier marriage. They say that your man sees you in the daytime in your work clothes, and he sees you, you know, maybe administering your staff, doing something different, taking charge of your office, making money, doing something different. And you know that a lot of men find that very, very attractive. Who agrees with me? These people will agree with me. This woman, you see her very quiet beside her husband. She's a boss. Yeah? She's a boss. And you know, when you see your wife, I remember some years ago, I don't have much time left, but I remember some years ago when I was watching a mini documentary and the marriage was falling apart, yeah? And the man was about to leave his wife. He had that girlfriend, you know, who was wearing a very slim, hot girlfriend in town. And he was about to leave the marriage. But on the day before he left, he just wanted to go to her office and drop, I don't know, the keys or a letter. I cannot remember what it was. And he was standing outside the window. The woman was a matron. And she was in, what do you call it? The emergency unit. And he stood outside there and he saw his wife. They rushed in a patient who was at the point of death. And he saw his wife in action as she took charge and told the other nurses what to do. And she, you know, was able to administer and revive that person. Guess what? That marriage was giving new life. He had never seen his wife like that. He has always seen his wife as my wife. He now saw her in her workroom. That alone was able to save their marriage. Quickly, I'll run through the rest of the things that we have here. They say that a woman who works does not age easily because life is a cycle. My son just went to the university a month ago. He just finally got admission after 2 years into the university. And I would have said I have my daughters, yes, but if Ayomide just went to school, their daughter just went to school. And at that point where you have given birth and you were taking care of the baby and you were, you know, primary school, secondary school, at this point now, the child has gone away to school. You cannot compare, you cannot comprehend the emptiness of the house when there is no child anymore. The marriage takes a different turn altogether, especially for the mother. Who understands what I'm saying? You no longer have a baby in the house. You know, no matter how big you are, you're your mother's baby. My mother is alive. She will still call me her baby. No matter what I do, I'm her baby. So, the child has gone out of the house. And now, the nest is empty. What will the woman do? Oh, ye woman, what shall you do? But if a woman has a job, guess what? She's able to now excel. Those things she could not do before, you see her on fire. That's why you see a woman between the ages of 40 and 50. At the point when the children begin to go out, you see them become, you know, bosses, heads of organization. You see them catch on a fire because, you know, they were always all of that. But there was this bit of an impediment. It was slowing them down a bit. And now the children are gone. It helps you to age easier. Quickly, it gives a woman a sense of purpose. It gives a woman a sense of purpose. A woman who just leaves. If you know me very well, if you stay around me, one of the most important things to me, to the people I work with, to the people I live with, you must have a sense of purpose in life. You didn't just come here to come and wear fine clothes and put lipstick and go and die. You came here to be something in life. You came here to leave your footprint on the sands of time. You didn't just come here to be a part of the general equation. Oh no. You came here, and if you live without achieving that, guess what? I will say again, don't say this woman is wicked or she's not. It's your fault. It's my fault. I tell that to myself. I say, Petra, if you fail, I look at myself in the mirror. I say, Petra, if you fail, it's your fault. Because whether you went to school or not, whether you're from a rich home or not, whether you are married or not, what did I say? Whether you are married or not, if you fail, is what? It's my fault. What did I say? I didn't say it's your fault. It's who? It's my fault. All right. As I round off, I would like to ask us a question. I'll leave us with a question. What happens if you get a job and you meet a man and he says he doesn't want you to work? Would you accept him into your life? For those of you who say yes, that is your decision. And you will live with it. If you meet a man who allows you to flourish and be all you can, somebody said to me, my husband would want me to, he would not mind if I'm the president of Nigeria. If you meet a man who would allow you to maximize your potentials, be all you can be, what would you say? Would you be grateful for him? Those are the questions you need to ask before you get married. Because guess what? It is your fault. Have a lovely day.
Let's come ask her for her again. Thank you. I actually enjoyed myself. Yes. I won't. This moment, I know many of us, we have different questions running in our minds. Different questions. But I want to open the section of question and answer. Just yesterday in my office, I have this new, I'll call him a man that just resumed with us. And then we asked a question, say, are you married? He said, no. Do you have somebody you want to marry? He said, no. So what kind of girl do you like? He said, I don't mind somebody older than me, somebody dark. As he was saying it, I was looking at myself. I said, why somebody older than you? With how many years? It doesn't matter. Why somebody older than you? So I quickly went to my phone. I said, you generation of today. See my daughter. She's in the university. He said, what? I said, yes, she's in the university. And I called the young lady with us to that. I'm trying to tell him, no way. I have a grown-up girl. I'm married. I have my husband. I'm enjoying my husband. So later on, he opened up to me. He said why he told me he was available, he was open, was because he has a girl in his life. He's from Anambra. He has a girl in his life. He's okay. The guy is okay. The parents are okay. You're welcome. The parents are okay. They are when I say they're comfortable, they live in town there or something. And then the girl is in love with, they are very, very rich. Very, I say very, very rich. He said, Ma, when I say very rich, I don't mean 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. No. I mean wealthy. Wealthy as in, if they have anything to do in the village, helicopter lands in their compound. And I said, then what's the problem? He said, how can I marry somebody like that? That's the person I'm in love with. But there is he called it financial gap. That if the father discover that I'm in love with the daughter, the father may kill me. There are situations like that They even tell the girl, don't bother about marriage now. The girl is 22 years old. Don't bother marriage now. When you are ripe to marry, we know what to do. He now asked, what should I do? I first of all swallowed spit. I said, does the girl know you're in love with her? Have you spoken to the girl? Or you are the only one nursing that feeling? We have guys. I have a guy in my house. He has dated like 4 ladies. In his heart. That's the truth. Mama T, I have one girl. Until later on I discovered that he's always saying that, but he doesn't approach the ladies. Where is the girl? I say, that one somebody has taken her. So I said, no, and the truth is that he's still the one nursing that feeling. The girl, she served, I think she's the last batch that finished serving. I said, talk to the girl first. I said, talk to the girl. When I was growing up, I'm still growing up, you know what I mean? When I was younger, my mommy told us something. She said, my daughters, don't ever bring any Ijebu man into this house. I'm a Ijebu lady. My mom is from Ijebu, my father is from Ijebu. But Ijebu men, my father dealt with us very well. That was hell. Now we are loving him, he's loving us all. But then he dealt with us. So my mommy called all of, don't ever bring any Ijebu man into this house. 1. Don't ever suffer with any stupid man. When you finish suffering with them and they make money, they now start looking for younger girls because then you have suffered with them, you are looking somehow. She's always hammering that. Don't bring Ijebu man and don't suffer with, if the money is too much, spending on your siblings. Don't suffer with any man. And then, me, I don't know what is happening. I fell in love with Ijebu man. And you see, I went to go and meet my mom. I said, I told my husband first. My husband said, prayer will answer that. I said, okay, no problem. I went to meet my mom. I said, I'm in love with somebody. I said, is it that Ijebu boy? I said, yes. I said, bring him. Just like, she did not even give me stress. One day, I asked my husband, I said, what happened? He said, I paid the price. That he took venison to the man of God and said, please pray for me. But my father was not like that too. My father, at a time, I wrote an undertaking with my father. I will not have anything to do with this guy until I finish my master's. I signed, he signed, and the third party signed. Before he paid my final school fees. Before I signed, I was crying. I said I will not sign. My mommy told me, sign. The Englishman that produced Biro produced eraser. Sign it. Collect your school fees. Then we will use prayer to erase it. And that was what we did. That same year that I signed down that taking was the year I got married. Now, we have questions in our minds. Just like our faces are different, so our challenges are different. What is bothering you? Don't be surprised. Has bothered somebody else too. What is so heavy in your heart has been heavy in somebody else's heart, and now is soft. One way or other, there was solution. That is why we are here. We are interacting. We are helping ourselves. Thank God we are singles. You see, this period in our life, singles, enjoy it. Yes. It's a season. God knows what he's doing. Season and times. Times and season. This time, enjoy it, because by the time you enter marriage, it's another level of enjoyment you enter. Yes. Another level of enjoyment. And they've explained some things, some steps to take. They've explained what we should look out for. She was even asking a woman, I was not working when I married my husband. I was not working. I was a student. I was in my final year when I married him. In fact, on our wedding week was when I landed in Abuja. I don't know who bought cake, I don't know who cooked, I don't know when. I just came like that with my hand out and my wedding gown. I landed We finished the wedding, and I told him, I'm going back to school. And he was like, okay, go back to school. Before my friend called me, he said, Tola, don't come, oh, there's strike. And the strike lasted 6 months. Sweet honeymoon. And for like 2 years after, 3 years after, I didn't work. I was not working, but I was root. I was root. You know what I call root? Root aboka koku. If my husband is going this way, I follow him. If he's going, I follow him to office every day. Because I can't sit at home alone. It's later on I was thinking, I think you married a baby. I couldn't sit at home alone. I will always follow him. Even in the house. One day he was going to the toilet and I was talking to him and following him to the toilet. And he asked me, are you going to enter the toilet with me? And I laughed. But one thing is that he allowed me to discover myself. When an opportunity came, it came to his phone. He got a message in his phone that, please, do you know anybody that knows how to use Excel very well? And he read it out. I said, I don't know anybody. I said, you don't know who? I can use Excel very well. He told me, okay, go. And I went. And then the second day they called me and said, resume. And that's where I've been working all those years. And then I travel a lot. You see, sometimes when I'm going, he will say, Tola, let's use the opportunity to do honeymoon. We Zoom together. You know, when I travel, they give us hotel room and the rest. We stay together for honeymoon. Even if it's Abuja and there is hotel room, we stay together. My daughter came in along the line. Now my daughter is in the university. It's just the two of us. Another honeymoon. But let's go back to the point this afternoon. There are some questions in your heart. Ask it. I went through a lot too. In fact, one of the questions I continue to ask myself, I think of, I challenged him a lot about that. I said, people talk about the day their husband proposed to them. I don't have a date. Because he never proposed. He didn't propose. We just saw ourselves like that, going like that, going like that, going like that. Instead of him to buy me, my birthday, he was my pastor in school. Instead of him to buy me maybe shoe, bag, he will buy me how to be a pastor's wife. So that was when I was really, anything I do one particular day, I said, oh God, I was not feeling fine. It was like, you want to go to hospital? Have you prayed before going to the hospital? Pray first. Pray. That is how to be a pastor's wife. Pray. So it's funny to you, but it was not funny to me. It was not funny to me. I will be going with him. Always going to the fellowship. We'll be going to fellowship. Somebody will say, well, I meet my sister, Sister Tola. And somebody will come out and say, Sister Tola, I like you. And you will see his countenance change. And they will say, maybe she's your sister. They say, don't go there. That was when I knew that this might have something. And we started like that till we got married, wedded, and then we are still enjoying ourselves. So what is it? And then sometimes, you see, when situation comes up, we have people to talk to. He reads a lot. I read a lot. He's my best friend. He was asking me about some days ago. He said, Tola, who is your best friend? And I laughed. I said, you are my best friend now, you know. You are my best friend. If I have problems, I share with you. If he has problems, he shares with me. That's because we are now one. And many of us, that is what we are aiming. We want to marry our friend. We want to marry somebody we can talk to. Somebody that will not cage us. So we want to marry our helper. For the men, you want to marry your helper. I can't see my husband, something wrong with my husband, and I'll throw my face away. No. If there's anything wrong with him, that thing is wrong with me. So the men wants to marry their helper. The ladies want to marry the love of their life. They want to marry their brother. They want to marry their husband, their friend, their companion. But something one way or the other is wrong along the way. Something is going on that you don't understand. Speak out now. And let our counselors help us. So if you have anybody in the house that has any question, I know you have a question. Please, Mike, please. Okay, let me help you. Please pay attention. Because that question may be the question you want to ask. So you don't need to ask that question again.
Thank you so much. I don't know if I should be asking this question openly or I should meet man of God. Although I'm not the shy type. Okay.
You can ask the question openly, but if the answer needs to be private, then they will answer it privately.
All right. The question is a personal experience, as in it's got to do with me. There's a guy who is interested in me. For the past 2 years, he's been chasing me. Right from the very start, I don't want to pay attention for obvious reasons. You know, when I met him, he opened up immediately to me that he's been with a lady before. They eloped. Families were not in support of their union, but yet they eloped, went to a court, and that was where they said the vow. And they even had 2 kids in the process. But family battles here and there. The lady's mother had to, even after 2 kids, the lady's, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Lizzie, please. So along the line, the lady's mother had to snatch the lady and the 2 kids from him, took them abroad. For the past 5 years, they've been abroad with the kids. He's not set his eyes on these 2 kids and all that. For that reason alone, I don't even want to think about liking him. Like I said, 2 years ago, I met this guy. Although he's everything a lady could want in a man. And right now, I'm beginning to see how much he loves me and how much he respects me. Why am I saying this? For the past 2 years, I've known this guy. Although we see just once in a while, sometimes he will call. I wouldn't want to pick. But he's never for once asked for what guys often ask a lady. For instance, a guy is meeting you, like the irresponsible one, so to speak. They are meeting you, hello, how are you, what is your name? The next thing, they're inviting you to bed and all of those. That's what I'm trying to say here. Such things doesn't cross his. He's a good Christian, very born again, very hardworking, focused. He's everything a lady could want in a man. But for this reason, I'm talking about his past life, it's giving me concern not to even think about considering him for anything. Why? Because I'm an individual that grew up in a polygamous home. My dad had 2 wives. Then he had 2 kids from 2 different women. So I'm saying this from experience. I'm a part of a strong polygamy. And growing up in my family, I've come to terms with, Lizzie, you will not follow this path. As in, I've made up my mind from childhood that my kids will never share daddy with anyone. I will never have the experience of polygamy that my mom had. My mom was the first wife. The other 2 kids, my dad had them from, what is it called? Away match. Plus bringing in another wife after my mom and all of those. So all of this experience put together, I built up myself. While Mrs. Petra was talking, she asked a very striking question that I've been asking myself, and I made sure that I trained myself along that line. Lizzie, you must discover yourself. You must know yourself and the things you want. So I'm saying this in line with the question she asked. Do you know yourself? This is me. It is something that I've made up my mind long ago not to go into. So I'm asking this question. I hope my strong stand, I'm in line with my decisions. I don't want to say, because of my decisions in life and my choice of way of life, I don't want to think that I missed my destiny by telling this guy no, because this is who I am actually.
Thank you very much.
I do.
Please, while I was talking, she wants to answer. I want to introduce her. Okay, while I was talking, one of my own respected aunts came in. I respect her so much because one of the reasons why I'm respecting her is because she was the one that led my husband to Christ. Years ago. So whoever my husband is, God has used her to help my husband to minister to my life. Because my husband too led me to Christ. So please, let's jam our hands together for this great woman of God. She is Mrs. Efuntoye. Barrister, my husband is correcting me, Barrister Efuntoye. Yes, I'm thinking, should we be answering the questions as it comes, or should we take questions as it comes? Did you have are you having a meeting concerning that? Please.
That would have been better. I'll suggest something. Because of the way you started, I will appreciate if after this, we just see briefly. But there's a question I want to ask you. Has that guy divorced that man? Has he divorced? Okay. Legally. Okay. You need to be sure of it. You need to find out and be very, very sure of it. The rest we can talk after. And I like your disposition, what you said. You said you know who you are. And you know what and who you intend to become in life. I think we hang it in here. We can then have a private chat. Thank you.
Let's jam our hands together for her. I love bold and beauty. Yes? I've written the question down. We will not miss any question. Please, any other person? Yeah. You first of all introduce yourself. Good day. Lizzie Lillian.
Then I knew some of my friends then who were AA, and I'm also AA. But during the university level, there were some tests also carried out. Then you'll be seeing AS. Which one will you take?
Is that the question?
Yes, that's my question.
Yes, I have a girl in my house that said her first, she wanted to enter the university, the Polytechnic for OND. And they will tell you to go and do your blood, to go and do tests, all this kind of tests. And they told her she's AS. Now she had to do direct entry to the university. They told her to go and do another blood test. They told her she's AA. You see, let me tell you the truth. Can I? Most of the time when we want to enter school, many of us will go to the lab, the same lab, to go and do tests. They will just be writing. It's normal. Yes. Yes. No, don't rely on that. We have hospitals. You have to, like she said, discover yourself. Just enter one hospital. It's not even expensive. This time around, there is no hurry. People are not many. We have general hospitals. We have labs. If you don't want to go to the hospital, we have labs. You just go there and tell them you want to check your blood group. You want to know which one you belong to. And they will do a proper one. But in school then, for a long time, I was carrying whatever I like. I just wrote O there. Till I went, I discovered mine when I was pregnant. They have to do all the tests. So they told me you are O positive and the rest. So please, one, you need to go to a good hospital. You go to the hospital. Leave school out of it. Or the lab. You still have something to say? She says she still have one thing to say. Okay.
Another question is this. When one of our pastors are talking, he brought up an issue of parental agreement. Then I have a close friend whom they've been on courtship for, so let's say close to 2 years. And on the process of trying to get married, there were some parental disagreement. In that process, what would you do?
Okay, I've written that down. That's the second question.
Okay. The reason was that the parent said, every parent has a way of settling their problems. The mother said where she went to prayers and they said the man is like this and is like that. And her spirit, the mother's spirit, did not agree with the marriage. That something tells her that something is not going on properly. Then they went ahead and got married by court, but still they don't have child since then. I don't know.
Okay, we've taken that. You said you want to say something.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Elizabeth Omachile Sule. Before I'll actually ask my question, to just quickly contribute to the issue of the blood group. When I was going to secondary school, I did the test. I'm AA. When I was equally going to other schools, I ran the same test. It came out the same, AA. Unfortunately, when I was going to law school, I went to run the same test. This time around, the hospital was actually calm, but the result given to me was AS. And I told the doctor that no, I'm AA. He was like, no, you can't be sure. He was actually trying to argue, but I insisted that no, I know this is something I've been doing over time. So reluctantly, he just decided to run the same test. Not more up to an hour, he discovered that actually I was right, and he apologized. And immediately he looked for the lab guy and was like, for instance, I don't know my blood, my genotype, what would have happened? Probably I was at a point of death or something, and they just relied on his own. So he was like, this part of costly mistakes that can actually happen. So I think it's best we go to various hospitals. The hospital can be, what I'm trying to say is the hospital can actually be free or relaxed, yet such mistakes can still actually do happen. Then to contribute to her last, so that the questions don't repeat itself. The question is actually this. A friend of mine was about to get married. Last year, the man in question was ready. As at April, he wanted to get married to her. But the parents insisted no. And when she asked why, the only reason she was given was, she's still young. This is somebody that is done with university, done with law school. So probably she's late, as at last year, 26. Now, of course, I understand that it's a mind thing, but she was ready, the man was ready. When she asked for another reason, they started giving her life experiences, obvious bad experiences. So, people get married, they don't have kids. People get married, they divorce. People get married. So there was no particular thing attached to the man that they would say he is bad, or he's from this tribe, or he's not this. Nothing attached to him in person. They were just giving her other experiences, outside experiences. And I was confused, because she was always talking to me. I kept telling her, be calm, just pray more, work with them. Because for me, I've decided that no marriage without parental consent. So I kept encouraging her to know why. And the question I asked was mom aware from the start, before you started dating? And she was like, in fact, before she said yes to him, she was in the picture. She encouraged him. So at that point, she was confused. And she's still confused because they've not answered them yet.
Thank you very much. I've written that down. Any other question, please?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Before that, what's the name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, okay. No. I own it, Lizzie. Yours is Elizabeth.
Okay, my name is Chinyere Distinguished.
Yeah.
My question is this, Mrs. Petra said you need to know yourself. And for a while, there are some things I know about myself. One of them is that I don't know how to talk. As in, I don't know how to communicate better verbally, except when it's work or I'm teaching. If it's to just share issues with someone, it's difficult. I communicate better when I'm writing. And I've always said, I can't marry, in fact, from friendship, right from when I was in primary school to secondary school, if you're not somebody I can relax and have a conversation with, it's a big problem. It will just be normal, hi, how are you? I can't really get deep with you. So it's always been there. I said, before I marry, I have to marry somebody that I can easily communicate with. So it got to the point, I think when I was getting to 25, and a lot of people would tell you, this is like the marriage deadline, you have to get married before 25. So I was desperate, I needed to get married. So a lot of people have been coming for my hand in marriage. The other thing I know about myself, at least this one God told me, I was going to go far. I'm going to be somebody that will be out there. Not just somebody that will just sit in the house and all that. I've always been someone that will be out there, encourage people and all that. So I was very particular in the it has to be one, somebody I can communicate with, because most times I hold things in. Two, it has to be someone that will give me the liberty to flow. So when I was getting to that age, and because I've always said no to a lot of people based on that communication issue, I decided to settle. In fact, as I was saying, my parents still today, they still don't understand. Like, how do you say no to someone because you can't communicate with the person? And I look at it, this is someone I will stay with for the rest of my life, because I write a lot. A lot of people that know me from the social media. And like the last guy I almost married, there were times I would post it on Facebook, he would be asking me, you didn't tell me you were going to post it. Like, I can't tell you I'm going to post something on social media. It doesn't make sense to me. So, because of this issue, and the first, we could not communicate well. It was there. The person I was dating before him, we used to chat a lot. He was like my best friend. We used to chat a lot. We used to gist a lot. So when we broke up and I started dating this guy because we were planning to get married, he wouldn't respond to chats. He was always busy. He wouldn't take my calls. And when he would call, like, I was no longer in the mood to talk. There were a lot of issues that happened that we'll share here, which eventually led to the breakup. And then when I look back, I said, is it that this communication thing now is a big thing that I should just have to step down, even though that inside I know that I am not happy, I am not comfortable? Is there really a place that you know that this is me, but without it, I don't know how to explain it, because sometimes they'll tell you, oh, your standards are too high. And me, I don't really want too much. Just somebody I can be able to communicate with. Is it that it's too much? Like the expectation is too high to get someone that you can actually flow with? So that's my question.
Thank you very much. Your expectation is not too high. Take that one first.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Bethel.
Okay.
Yeah. Our auntie here, Auntie Petra, started from a very high note. And there is something I just discovered. She said, discovering yourself. And in the area of discovering yourself, there's an aspect of discovering purpose for life, and also discovering what you want to run with, so that in line with what you're running with, when you meet someone in that line, you know if it's suit for you or not. But today, we don't talk about purpose. We don't talk about, in most relationship, is the last thing that comes in mind. And when you get into the relationship or marriage, things begin to fall apart because you don't really know if it's the one for you. You just come because I like him, he likes me, we're attracted to each other and the rest of them. And I want to really boil down because one, now I've spoken to myself, I've talked to myself, and I've discovered my purpose in life. But because people don't know, people don't look at it as an elastic, because we just, whatever comes my way, if it's good enough, I'll get married to him. So I want you people to please share more light on it, because it's something that we will run with tomorrow. Because I think it's one of the reasons why homes break, because you are coming from different world and you are merging together. If you have prayed, because what people don't understand is we don't pray, but we just listen, we just look at if it's compatible. But in the aspect of going back to God in prayers, is this really the person for me? Asking God, this is what you have told me. How does it fit into it? So,
Thank you very much. Betel? Yes, there's another person here, please.
My name is Deborah.
You're welcome.
My questions borders on the area of religion. Let's say if a lady wants to get married and the man is from a different religion, then the woman is also from a different religion. Then the man now told the woman that if I marry you, you are going to leave your church and follow me to my church. And the woman tells the man, no. Religion is a spiritual affair, is a personal thing. It is what I believe in that will take me to heaven. And the man said, no. In as much as I've married you, you have become my wife. And wherever I go, you follow me. Whatever religion I'm attending, that is where you attend. And the woman said, no. Spiritual life is a personal thing. And now this religion issue is now causing a very big problem to the two people, to the extent of people separating the marriage. So how can one handle a situation like that?
Thank you very much. Any other person, any other question? You just answer this first.
Excellent. This is, there's going to be a pause. We're going to answer all these questions. But I want us to listen to one part. I think when we started, half of the class was seated. They were still coming. Okay. Now that my mentor is here, I want us to listen to her for 10 minutes. She's a barrister. She has been practicing for a long time. Mother of children. And I want us to listen to her. 10 minutes, she's going to talk to us about that aspect that you need to also be aware of. Please, let's celebrate Barrister Mrs. Abiodun Efuntoye.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be in your midst, and this is a great opportunity for all of us. And I want to believe that with this opportunity, we will not miss it in Jesus' name. The Lord will guide us. He will guide our steps. You will not marry the wrong person. So I want to talk from the aspect of the law. The Marriage Act governs the law, and the Matrimonial Causes Act governs the law of marriage in Nigeria. There are three types of marriages, actually. We have the statutory marriage, we have the Islamic marriage, and then we have the customary marriage. Under the customary marriage, you have the engagement, where they do the engagement and they come together, they pay the dowry and all that. But under that customary marriage, there are one or two lapses. If there's a disagreement, the lady, they will go to the customary court, and the customary court will just give an order. The order cannot really be enforced. It's only a marriage that comes under the Marriage Act that can be enforced through the courts, the high courts. The marriage under the Act stipulates, among other things, that someone below 21 years cannot get married without the written consent of the parents, the written consent of the parents, and anyone that contravenes is liable to 2-year imprisonment, or there's even no option for fine, actually. So I believe we're all over 21 years here, so we're eligible for marriage. So under the Marriage Act, when you want to get married, you go to the registry, you collect the necessary forms. Actually, some churches conduct marriage, but we've discovered that it's not all the churches that conduct marriage are actually recognized under the law of Nigeria to conduct such things. They are supposed to, so you as a person should go to the marriage registry, register your name. They are going to give you, then they give you a notice. They place your photographs there in case there's anyone that disputes or disagree with the two of you coming together. They'll bring the notice and put it on the board. And then anyone that, if there's no opposition, then the two of you can go there with about minimum of 2 witnesses, maximum of as many witnesses as you want, and they have the authority to bind you together as husband and wife. And the beauty of the Marriage Act actually is that it protects the woman to a large extent. I have a friend that, I don't know how her dad was doing it at that time, but he was living with 2 women he wasn't married to. Probably he got married to them under the Customary Act. So this, my friend's dad got born again, and the church told him that he needs to make restitution and pick one of them and take one of them to the court. So instead of picking my friend's mother, who happens to be the first one anyway, he went for the younger one, you know, and that's how my friend till today, although there's nothing you can do about the circumstances of your birth, can be said to have been born out of wedlock. You understand? So the woman should ensure, you know, because men, they want to eat, and they want to eat their cake and have it. Should ensure that you go through the Marriage Act, not just the Customary Act. Under the Customary Act, the man is entitled to marry as many wives as possible. He has not committed any crime. But once you have gone through the Marriage Act, if you married another person without proper divorce, then he can be said to have committed bigamy. And that is a crime under the laws of the country. And he can be brought to book. You can go to the High Court and file processes against him, and the hands of the law will catch up with him. So we as women and ladies, because there are so many, I even have some of them in my churches, they just come together and they start living with that man, with that guy. Some of them will say he doesn't have money. He doesn't have money, but you are the one at risk. Because if at the end of the day you have 3, 4, 5 children, and this man is tired of you, he has a right to kick that person out. But when you are legally married, you know, when you are legally married, even if he kicks you out, you can go to the court for redress. You can go to the High Court. And the court, in some cases, there was this case of Kafi and Kafi, that the woman was actually not working, but she was taking care of the house. To a large extent, she was also taking care of some of the staff of the man's business. So at the end of the day, the man became a big man and decided to do away with this woman. And they had 1 or 2 properties they had bought together. You know, although the courts tried to resolve, lawyers tried to resolve, the man was adamant. But at the end of the day, they gave this woman equal share of what that man had. They gave her a whole property. And they gave her, so he was supposed to continue to take care of her and the children. But if it's under the customary marriage, there is no such protection for a woman. So we are not justified if we live with a man without being covered, without being protected, and even your children too, without being protected, because anything can happen. I'm an advocate of having a joint account with your spouse. Whatever belongs to your spouse belongs to you. But I have a friend of mine. She said, God forbid, over her dead body, she can never have a joint account. Why? Because her husband is all over the city, picking one girl or the other. So she said she will be at risk if she should have a joint account with her husband. But in Christendom, you know, we encourage us to marry a child of God. If you marry a child of God, to a large extent, and the two of you pray together, you come together, you pray. I don't think the enemy can succeed in coming in between you. So also, when a man eventually dies, if he dies intestate without a will, if it is under the Marriage Act, if the marriage is such that has been done under the Marriage Act, then you can conveniently go to court and take the letter of administration, and you can have access, you know, to part of his property or part of his estate. But if it's under the customary law, the customary law also has its own. They have what is called Ori Ojori and Idigi. You know, depending on one, if it is, if the man has maybe 3 wives, then they divide it according to the wives. Maybe the wife A has 2 children, wife 2, number 2 has 5 children, then wife 3 has just 1. They just divide it equally amongst the wives. But if it is Ori Ojori, they divide it amongst the children equally. So I would encourage us to ensure that our relationship is solidified by going to the registry. Some churches they have the license to conduct marriages. Be sure that your church has that license to conduct the marriage. And then for our sister, we have been told, if a man married under the act wants to marry somebody else, he must properly divorce the person, or else he can be said to have committed bigamy. So ensure that you see the marriage certificates. Don't just listen to men. You understand? See the divorce certificate, before you go into it. And if there's any question, I'm here for some time to attend to our question. Thank you very much.